All right. So, welcome everybody, and thank you so much to everyone who showed up. And a big special congratulations to Danny for those who are watching this back, because Danny had her baba, her little baby girl, on Sunday, and it is Tuesday. So, if she can show up for a call, just given birth, literally a couple of days ago, she's showing up to the Alchemist calls. That has just made me like so proud of her and everyone in this community. And I don't know, it's just really special. So yes, thank you so much, Danny, for being here with your beautiful baby girl. And it is our first Alchemist baby, so we're very excited to welcome your little beautiful daughter to the Alchemist as well. um Another side note, I'm standing. I brought one of those walking pads for my desk because my Vata craziness and my Pitta. So if you see me when I start, my head bobbling along, it's because I'm walking, because Helena's teaching this class and I'm really excited about that as well. I love learning from Helena. Like when you're in Ayurveda and you're in this industry, oh, you've got a walking mat too, Danny. Yeah, so they're so good, so much fun. But when you're in this Ayurvedic industry, you never stop learning. And even if you learn the same thing a million times over, you always draw new insights, because Ayurveda is not only a science, but it's a philosophy, it's a psychology, it is an art form. And so we all can learn from each other. So I'm constantly learning every day, even if it's the most basic things like the elements and the doshas. But when it comes to Ayurvedic nutrition and cooking, Helena is definitely our go-to woman. She's an Ayurvedic practitioner. She's part of the Ayurveda Alchemist teaching team now. So just in case there's some new people that want a little refresher, there's myself, the lead teacher in Ayurveda, and there's Helena, an Ayurvedic practitioner who's also one of our lead teachers. And then we have Mel, who's another lead educator. She's also our student success mentor and our mindset coach. So that's your little team. So if you have any questions, always drop them in the Facebook community, the Facebook group, and either three of us will go in and answer, depending on who you're really talking to. But I'm going to hand the reins over to Helena, and you know how passionate I am about Ayurvedic education. So I will do my best to not butt in, but this is her zone of specialty. She is also an Ayurvedic, I call her an Ayurvedic chef, because she does run a meal business as well, where she does pre-cooked Ayurvedic meals and delivers them on the Gold Coast. And I have been very busy in the last few years since I've met Helena. So I definitely have been using her services, and I'm going to have to use them again, because I have been flogged with one-to-one clients like I need a breather. And what I do want to say in this, like a little bit more on like the business side of things, in this sort of bizarre economy, there's lots of things going on with world politics and courses and all of that. Since 2020 to now, there's been huge changes in the industry. But what I will say, the one-to-one, so coaching one-to-one, is actually booming. So if you were keen with one-to-one clients, you are still in the very right industry, because people are wanting more of that one-to-one. Courses, I will say, are definitely harder. Groups, harder, but people are wanting that one-to-one commitment and that one-to-one guidance. So yeah, I think I've been busier than I've ever been, and I am trying to wind that back a bit, so I can really go further in with the Alchemist, because we are creating, should I tell them, ladies, the level 2 for next year. So it takes a good year or more to create such a program, but we are going to be creating a level 2 of Ayurveda as well. So that is something that Helena, myself, and Melissa are working towards as well. In saying that, I will shut up. I will start walking. I will turn my mic off so you don't hear my walking pad, and I'm going to hand it over to Helena.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Nice to be here again. Thanks for inviting me, Harmony. I have to say that your introduction was very good, because I had lost my concentration with Danny's news. I was, okay, what is happening? So now, okay, settled again. And just let me know if you are hearing me well. It's okay with the sound, okay? And are you in the Ayurvedic cooking image, like the first slide? Is everything okay with that? Great. So I prepared 2 classes for you. So one we are just starting, and the next one will be in the first Tuesday of the next month. And I think there is not too much things to talk about, so I'm very keen to let you ask everything you want to ask during the class. So don't be like careful to ask me, to interrupt me, whatever you want, okay? It will be very nice to discuss with you, especially if you are not like understanding some topics. So please let me know, okay? And so let's get started. As you know, I always like to start with a mantra. So Harmony, hands together in front of your heart. And we start with a mantra for Dhanvantari, the father of Ayurveda. Namami Dhanvantari Devam Shurai Shurai Vandita Pad Padman Loke Jararuk Jayamitryunashanam Dataramishan Vidvyaushadinam Dataramishan Vidvyaushadinam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So you can see the translation or the interpretation of this mantra. That means, I salute the Vantari, the god of medicine, who is the bearer of the jar of Amrita, and Amrita is the nectar of immortality. May he cure all our illness and grant ourselves a long and healthy life. On peace, peace, peace. So that's one of the interpretations of this mantra.
And I'll just butt in already, but Helena is going to be teaching a mantra workshop in June, I believe it is. So you guys will be learning mantras and why that's important and relevant in Ayurvedic medicine as well.
So let's jump into the concept of food. Because when it comes to Ayurveda, we will see that there are lots of concepts that are very weird if we look at that with the Western view. So be patient with me, and let's try to kind of forget a little for a while the concepts of the modern nutrition, and we're gonna jump into the concepts of Ayurveda, okay? So as a general understanding, let me just get my notes here. Yeah, general understanding about food according to Ayurveda. So what food, let me just, okay. So diet is the most basic way to treat the physical body. A pure diet is important in developing mental purity as well. However, as we know, diet is only a part of an Ayurvedic treatment, right? What are the other parts of a treatment? Help me. Lifestyle, right? Massages, right? Use of herbs, teas, medicines are other parts of the treatment. So it's not enough to give a list of foods that everyone should or should not eat. I just hate that concept when it comes to Ayurveda. It's not about do and don'ts, do and don'ts, okay? The proper diet must be explained and suited to the dosha or constitution of each person. And we know that in Ayurveda, everyone is unique. So every diet plan should be unique as well. And another big thing for now is that we should not try to change the diet, our diet or our client's diet, too quickly and radically. Our body, as a material organism, is a being of habit, and it's accustomed to the food we eat. It takes some time to adapt to the new diet, right? So in general, what we see nowadays in the modern concepts of diet is the diets work for everyone in the same way, right? We have quick outcomes, temporary changes, and very restrictive and radical habits. So it's very, very radical and hard to do. And differently from that, the Ayurvedic diet concepts are that we are unique, so the diet must be unique and suitable for each person. But the outcomes are longer and permanent. And the best thing, the diet should be gentle and natural. And here there is a very famous quote from Charak Samhita, one of the main books of Ayurveda, that says, nothing is beneficial for everyone all the time in the same dosage. This is just for you to think about. I will not explain that, okay? Think about that, nothing. I will just say one thing. Even the best supplement, the most famous supplement you are seeing in the pharmacies, even the best Ayurvedic medication, for example, the Chyavanprash that has more than 50 different herbs and they are all rasayana, all rejuvenating. This is not beneficial for all the time in the same dosage for everyone. But what is happening nowadays? I'm seeing more and more people seeking alternative natural approaches to address health imbalance. At the same time, many people adhere strictly to generic diet and lifestyle guidelines designed to conform to societal norms or to achieve a certain body image, often neglecting the unique individuality and inner divinity inherent in each of us. For example, no matter your constitution, you are told the healthiest lunch is always green salad with grilled chicken for everyone. No matter your dosha, no matter your imbalance, you must increase your protein intake, yes or yes. So you are expected to have first thing in the morning, for example, 8 eggs, avocado, toast, and green juice for everyone. So no matter how unique you are, you must be skinny, wear a small size, and have strong muscles, right? As less fat you have, as better you are when you enroll in a gym, okay? What is your percentage of fat? Okay, more than 5? more or less. Less than 5%, wow, you are the best, okay? So that's the things I've been seeing nowadays. It feels like everything is reduced to right or wrong, should or shouldn't, and people end up feeling overwhelmed, doing extremely long fasts, developing new food intolerances every day. Today, I can't eat bread. Tomorrow, it's bread and milk. The next day, more intolerance. Okay, so people are starting fearing to eat, feeling guilty to eat. But in the other hand, taking 20 different supplements, tablets every day. And we know that even nowadays, we see that medication to suppress the appetite is still popular, isn't it? So, what is happening? I'm part of some WhatsApp groups, and many of them are only Brazilians there living in Australia. And I saw this message last week. Girls, I'm looking for a nutritionist because I don't like to eat at all. I don't like to eat. Another time, I need an anti-inflammatory diet. This is very common nowadays. I'm inflamed, I'm intoxicated. I don't eat carbohydrates because they make me fat. This is very common, isn't it? And I want to keep my fat tissue as low as I can. Imagine a Kapha one saying that. Okay? So what is happening with our relation with food? And then we see what is the concept of Charak Samhita about food. He says that everything in nature seeks food. It is the principle of life of all beings. And now is the best part. Clarity, longevity, intelligence, happiness, contentment, strength, and knowledge have their roots in food. According to my understanding, food is also affection, memory, and identity. The art of transforming what is beneficial for us in a kind of pleasure. So if food is affection, memory, and identity, I don't know if you agree with me or not, and we see people chasing for patterns, body shapes, superfoods, processed supplements, maybe we are losing affection, memory, identity, and sadly, the pleasure for food. Wait, I will explain what does it means. So Ayurvedic medicine involves a vast science to address the therapeutic or disease-producing effects not only of food, but also herbs, minerals, gemstones, and emotions. This science is known as Dravya Guna Rasa Vipak Viryaji Siddhanta. You are seeing that. This means the profound, Viryaji is profound, knowledge, Siddhanta, of substance, Dravya, relating them to the effects of the tastes that are rasa, their inherent qualities, the gunas, and their post-digestive effects, vipak. Vipak or vipaka. So every Ayurvedic coach or practitioner should have a deep understanding of this science in order to properly prescribe diets and also the use of medicinal herbs and minerals. Okay, so this is very interesting. When it comes to Ayurvedic cooking, we are calling this class, it's not about food, only food. It's important to understand that according to Ayurveda, we see the food, we study the properties of the food in absolutely the same way we study the minerals, the gemstones, everything in nature, the plants, the herbs, everything it goes to the same way of knowledge, okay? We also know that we have 7 layers of tissues and they are nourished in a sequence of digestion process, remember? So food comes to the main Agni, that's called Jatara Agni, that is between our stomach and the small intestine. And then after the first digestion, food goes to the rasa and the rakta. Remember, then the muscle tissue that is called mansa, and then it goes for the meda, the adipose tissue, and then the asci, that means the bones, and then the maja, that means the nervous system, and at last, the shukra, that is the reproductive tissue. So when we talk about Ayurvedic nutrition, we talk about bringing enough nourishment for each of the 7 tissues. Why we think about nourishing each of the 7 tissues? Also because the nourishment of each of the tissue is correlated not only with the physical aspect of the tissues, but also they have one important emotional aspect. For example, psychological aspect, a deficiency of the tissue can lead to a psychological imbalance, but an excess of the tissue can also cause an excess of these traits. For example, rasa tissue, our plasma, brings us, when it's well nourished, brings us what we call brinhana. And brinhana means the feeling of satisfaction. If the next tissue, that is the rakta, is well nourished, we have what we call in Sanskrit jivana. And jivana literally means color. But in the mental and emotional aspect, it means the passion for life. In other words, if our blood tissue is being well nourished, we will see the life more colored. You know what I mean? Not in black and white. Next tissue, mansa. If mansa is well nourished, we have the feeling of lepana in Sanskrit. And lepana means courage, impulsiveness. Next tissue, meda, the fat tissue. Fat tissue brings us snehana. Snehana also means oil. But in this context, it means affection or to be loved, affection. And the next tissue, if everything is happening well, all the agnis, all the nourishment, we will have the asthidatu well nourished. That means the bone tissues. And it brings us dharana. Dharana is a very known word in yoga. So it means concentration, right? So it brings us support and stability. And Maja, the nervous system, brings us Purana. in Sanskrit, Purana. It means fullness, a sense of being complete, needy. Predatory individuals may have a deficiency in Maja. So it's the feeling of being fulfilled. And the last tissue, that is Shukra, when well nourished, brings us Ojas. That brings the feeling of resilience, contentment, and immunity. Usually, the starting point is the taste. That is rasa. Rasa means taste, means the tissue, plasma, but also taste or juiciness. These are all meanings of the word rasa in Sanskrit. So usually the starting point is the taste, because that's the way the food enters in the body, particularly through the mouth. Foods, for example, are first decoded by the nervous system through the impression of taste. And this leads to reactions such as the production of digestive enzymes, hormones, and other substances, all based on this sensory of perception. So a lot of things happening only because the sensation of taste in our tongue. So this is a summary about how the taste influences the doshas. But you know me, I don't want you to memorize that. I really want you to understand the reasons, the whys, okay? But this, where are the 6 different tastes present? Let's think firstly about that. We said food, okay, the 6 tastes, sweet, sour, salty. We're gonna see that in the next class very, very deeply. But it's important to know now that the tastes aren't only in the food, they are also in drinks. So every time we think about diet in Ayurveda, we are also thinking about drinks, herbs, gemstones and crystals, and what else? Guess what? Emotions. Emotions also have tastes, and we're gonna see that deeply later. So we must, again, let's understand that the Ayurvedic approach to these topics may seem very strange or weird to some doctors, health professionals, or even to the general population, but they are profound foundations that support all this reasoning. When we learn about Virya, Vipak, Rasa, and Prabhava, we are kind of returning the responsibility of maintaining health to the one who truly has the obligation and duty to do so. Who? You. Dietary changes play a fundamental role in this process. As I said, these changes must be gradually, so they are consistent and do not cause more stress than the health problem itself. Okay, no overwhelming. So let's jump in here into the slide. We have Virya, that means energy. So it's the potency or power of herbs or food, designated in Ayurveda as heating or cooling. So when you hear Virya, it's always hot Virya or cold Virya. Food, through its taste, tends to heat the body or cool it. and this produces the most basic energizing effect upon the system. Okay? Basically, what is heating is catabolic. And if the herb or food is cooling, it's anabolic in the modern concepts, okay? Vipak. Vipak means the post-digestive effects. It relates to the final outcome of digestion. Sweet, so for now, we don't have to be to go very deep in that, but it's important to know that sweet tastes and salty tastes have a sweet vipak. Everything we eat that is sweet or salty turns into sweet vipak. And sour has a sour vipak, according to Charak, but according to Sushruta, sour has also a sweet vipak. So these are a little difference between these authors. And bitter, astringent, and pungent have a pungent vipak. So why do we study vipak in general? Because these are the effects when we consume food or we take medications in the long term. This effect will only happen in the long term. Okay? I will give you an example. Ashwagandha. Have you ever heard about ashwagandha? Do that. Yes. Ashwagandha has a sweet vipak. So in the long term, it can be not beneficial for those who are trying to lose weight or for obesity. If you have someone that is treating obesity, you can use ashwagandha, yes, to improve the thyroid metabolism or just for a short term, but not in the long term, because it can decrease the gain lose, okay? That's one example, but only in the long term. And Prabhava, the last one, it's amazing. So food also possesses subtler and more specific qualities that cannot be placed into a system of energetics. Prabhava is the special potency. It is uniqueness apart from any general rules about it. I will explain that quickly. It's better to understand Prabhava as a special effect of one herb. For example, Amala or Amalaki. Amalaki is very, 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 very sour. If it's very, very, very sour, the first thing we should think is that it may increase pitta a lot, right? Because sour taste increases pitta because it has the fire element. But not. Amla is one of the best herbs for pitta. It doesn't increase pitta because of its prabhava. So it's kind of something that cannot be explained according to the rasa, virya, and vipak. It's kind of opposite. Okay, this is prabhava, a special action of the herbs. So again, I don't want you to learn Ayurvedic cooking in a way of do's and don'ts. I want you to understand that cooking and eating involve many different circumstances, and you are not, for example, dying just because you are a Vata 1 enjoying a green salad. So as practitioners or coaches, avoid prohibiting your clients to eat this or that, especially if 1, they like it, 2, they are used to it. This is called satimiya in Sanskrit. They are used to that. Indian people, for example, are used to drink milk and dairies. So their agni are used to digest that. So it's not the same thing here, maybe, okay? And before we jump into the concept of food itself, let's have a look in some very important principles related to Ayurvedic nutrition. We see here, 1, amount of food. 2, quality of the food. 3, food preparation. 4, combination of foods. 5, the right time to eat. And 6, choosing the best oils. Okay, so in some of these topics, I will say something about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, but in a very general way, okay? The diet for the doshas will be deeply discussed only in the next month. Because in my opinion, this is more important now. We need to learn it now, okay? Just coming back to the Vata eating salad. What is your opinion about that? Anyone?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're looking at it from a very limited, like, frame of mind, if you're high in Vata or you've got excess Vata, you'd look at it through a lens of perhaps not eating that because I would need something a bit more grounding and warm and, yeah, so I would say that, but I don't really know how to answer that from your perspective of grabbing all of this information.
Perfect. I like it. Let's listen to Susie.
If the Vata is balanced,
I'm not hearing you like again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think if the Vata, like for me, my digestion is Vata oriented. I can get very out of balance quickly, but if I'm in balance, especially mentally and emotionally, and I've been taking care of myself, I can eat a salad. It's not something I would do every day, but I can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
So it depends on where I'm at. And that's a really good sign of me being in balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked both answers. Okay. I liked your views about what is happening right now. What is happening with the inner climate? How is my body looking like? And what is the weather outside looking like? So we can also say that in the peak of the summertime, Vata can eat some salad because it's warm outside. It's humid outside, okay? And there's another thing that is called antidote. Is it the right pronunciation? Antidote. So instead of eating a dry salad, what can you add for this salad to make it more suitable for a Vata 1?
Oil.
Oil.
Even massaging the leaves, like you're massaging the wind element out of the leaves.
And you can go beyond that, medicated oil. Medicated oil. Medicated with what? Spices. Mustard seeds, cumin seeds, coriander seeds. You prepare that like in 2 minutes, heating that seeds in the oil. And you can just strain that to not add the seeds themselves. So just add that oil, a lot of oil, on top of the salad. Okay, it changes the substance. So let's go to the next step. Amount of food. Food must be consumed in adequate quantities. Excessive intake can lead to formation of ama, while insufficient intake can result in tissue depletion and also formation of ama. So the appropriate amount also depends on an individual's digestive fire and constitution. So in general, Vata individuals generally require more food but should avoid eating large quantities at once. Instead, they should eat more frequently. Kapha individuals should aim to eat less and avoid overeating. And Pitta ones fall somewhere in between. Quality of the food. Unlike the modern approach to healthy nutrition, which often emphasizes concentrated supplements, superfood powders, smoothies containing a mix of everything, Ayurveda defines high-quality food as fresh or freshly cooked items rich in life force, prana. This includes local and seasonal vegetables, ideally sourced directly from your garden or local suppliers. And on the other hand, poor quality food includes reheated, burnt, or overcooked items, as well as canned and artificially processed foods. Additives, preservatives, and artificial colorings further diminish the food quality. While frozen food is of lower quality than fresh food, it is still preferable to canned food. Okay, freezing reduces prana, and although refrigeration helps preserve nutritional value, some deterioration still occurs. Therefore, consuming as much fresh product as possible is ideal. Animal products, for example, deteriorate in quality more quickly than plant-based foods, decomposing faster and more likely to retain toxic residues. For this reason, they require special preservation methods to ensure safety and quality. So it's also in the mid path, okay? It's not because freezing lower the prana that you are not refrigerating your meat, okay? We are in the modern days, okay? We have nowadays refrigerator, so we need to use that, but always in the mid path, okay? Food preparation. Food must be cooked properly. Undercooked food in the long term can cause malabsorption. And overcooked food is devoid of vital force. Also, we should not cook at too high temperatures. Generally, cooked food is more nutritious and constructive as it's already partially digested. And raw food tends to be reductive and more purifying. It has the scraping action, helping to eliminate the excess of stickiness in the digestive system, which is often associated with toxins. Some foods are best eaten fresh, like fruits. Other foods, such as cereals or potatoes, must be cooked to extract their nutritional value. And microwave cooking damages the life force of food, the prana. Restaurant food is generally inferior to homemade food, as it's prepared in large quantities and made with commercial objectives, not always with love. More, electric cooking is inferior to gas, which is inferior to wood or fire, but this is a minor detail, okay? The theory, and then we can just pick what we can do and do our best, okay? Combination of foods. Food should not be eaten in combinations that make the digestion harder. Opposite qualities make the digestion confused. For example, mixing very hot foods with very cold ones, or very light foods with very heavy ones. On the other hand, food that is prepared all together, such as roasts and stews, are easier to digest, all the ingredients eaten separately. Typically, Vata constitutions tolerate less food combinations, although they tend to eat many different things at the same time. They like to choose different things to eat.
Can I just jump in? I had another Ayurvedic practitioner on my podcast recently, and her teacher said, just going back to what you said about foods cooked together, she had this really cute comment, and it was like, foods work out their differences in the pot. So when they're cooked together, they can work out their differences in the pot, and they're a lot better when they come out, even if there's like slight incompatibilities. I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
Throw it all in the pot and they'll work out their differences, and then
yes, and in Brazil it's very, very common, the type of restaurants where you help yourself and you get how much you want from each of the foods, but you have 50 different foods. So that's a good example. For a Vata one to go there, it's very challenging because they naturally like to taste everything. Let's try this and try that, but this is not maybe the best choice for him, okay? And what about Pitta? Pitta types are those who tolerate the maximum number of food combinations due their good digestive fire. And Kapha lies between the two. Right time to eat. Food must be eaten at times according to our nature. Generally, it's best to eat when in the presence of the sun, especially for Kapha types. For Vata types, it's preferable to eat at Vata times of the day. What are the Vata times of the day? Quick. 2 to 6? And again, Vatas also need to eat more frequently. Pitta types need to eat more at midday, a Pitta time of the day, with 3 meals a day. and kapha types should only stick to 2 meals a day. No, you're still here. And choosing the best oil. Sometimes it seems to be everything perfect with the diet, but what oils are you using in your preparation? Okay, so until recently, it was believed that cholesterol clogged arteries, leading to widespread recommendations to use vegetable oils instead of animal fats like lard and butter, as vegetable oils contain no cholesterol. It's right. However, many vegetable oils are rich in biological, I can say that, are rich in active fats. So they're called omega-6 polyunsaturated fat acids, which can be highly detrimental to health. Okay, these fats tend to react with oxygen, causing oxidation that leads to free radical formation and inflammation. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, the best oils for cooking includes ghee, olive oil, coconut oil, sesame oil, avocado oil, and there are others. But these, if you only want to choose a few, these are one of the best. And check the olive oil acidity, because there are some percentage that are best to heat. They tolerate more temperature than the other ones, okay? So it's not all kind of olive oil. And to maximize their health benefits, choose the high quality oils. Opt for 100% pure, cold pressed, and ghee made from high quality butter sourced from the milk of well-cared cows, or the happy cows, okay? And eating with the right attitude. Meals should be taken in a relaxed, calm, and happy state of mind, and not when we are nervous, anxious, disturbed, or impatient. We should not eat in a hurry or in a crowded, noisy, or disturbed environment. A relaxed and cheerful atmosphere is always preferable. But we also don't need to be solemn either, too solemn, okay? We must take the necessary time to chew our food, and this allows for better digestion and absorption. A certain reverence or gratitude towards the meal is also useful, since the act of eating is a ritual, a communion with the cosmic life force. Okay, we can make, for example, an offering to the divine, to the vital force, or for the benefit of humanity or all living beings. In the Ayurvedic tradition, it is considered an offering to the digestive fire, the Jatara Agni, the main Agni. And before we eat, we should greet this inner fire. We can chant mantras to the 5 vayus. Remember what is vayus? The sub-doshas of vata that controls all the movements in our body. So we can try this mantra. Let's do that together. Like question and answer. I say and then you repeat. Om Pranaya Swaha. Om Udanaya Swaha. Om Samanaya Swaha. Om Vyanaya Swaha. Om Apanaya Swaha. Om Brahmare Swaha. Perfect. This is usually made before you eat. It's already something. And the last thing, the eating routine. So in Ayurveda, it's recommended to fill the stomach in the following proportions. Half of the stomach with food, 1/4 with liquid, and the remaining quarter left empty. This balance supports optimal digestion. It is generally advisable also to avoid exercising for at least 1 hour after eating, although a short walk can actually aid the digestive process. Can help that. 10 minutes walking after food. The same applies to strenuous mental activity. Similarly, when we should avoid exercise before eating, and also sexual activity before and after eating can imbalance the digestion. Sleeping after eating can also be bad. Watching television during or after eating can also weaken the digestive fire. Smoking or drinking alcohol after a meal can be harmful to health. Okay, desserts, due to their heavy and sweet nature, tend to suppress the digestive fire, causing fermentation and indigestion, especially if they are fried or cold. And for people with weak digestion, raw food should not be consumed at the beginning of the meal, as it reduces the appetite and the digestive fire. Okay? Imagine our Agni as a firebomb. If we, as the first thing we are eating, put a lot of green leaves in that fire, what happens? It goes. Okay? So, yes, we are almost ending. So let's just remember, we talked about ama in the last class. Let's remember that ama, the toxins, has a close relationship with Agni. So understanding your Agni is, for me, the first and the main key of health. Agni is not about what you eat. A while ago, one of my ex-classmates asked me, Elena, what time should I take this medication? And I answered her with another question. How is your Agni going? And she answered, I was eating very healthy foods last week, but this week I started eating some breads and croissants, and I was, no, I'm not asking what did you eat? I'm asking, how are you digesting that? So it's not hard. I think understanding about our Agni is a process, but the first thing is what you're seeing this slide. Agni, the digestive fire. The thought comes, I'm hungry. Okay, before eating, evaluate your hunger. We feel hungry when the body has already digested a previous meal and it's ready to the next one. Okay, am I really hungry? Eating without hunger will overload the organism and form toxins, which in long term will have consequences such as illness, allergies, and discomforts. Okay, what do I do? I need to feel good, right? So pay attention to your body signs, listen to yourself, and you don't need to eat if you are not hungry, okay? And my big hint is, if the lunchtime is coming and you are not feeling that hungry, eat 1 or 2 slices of fresh ginger with a bit of salt and lemon 30 minutes before the meal. Try that. It will instantly improve your digestion. So Agni, according to Charak, moderates the transformation process in the body and mind. The main one is in the stomach and duodenum, and it governs our ability to digest food. Its function has a ripple effect on all other metabolic processes in the body and mind, including our ability to digest life as we experience it through our thoughts, emotions, and ideas. We're gonna talk this in the next class. This is just, let me just introduce you that, because this is such an important thing. It is called Sansarjanakrama. It looks like a nightmare, but it means digesting ama. What is the difference between an Ayurvedic practitioner and a good Ayurvedic practitioner? I have already told you. It's the ability to identify and digest ama. So what are the attributes of ama? Remember, open your mic. I want to hear from you. What is the attributes of ama? Heavy,
Yeah.
cold, sticky,
Cold, heavy, sticky.
dense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the attributes of ama, remember, are exceeding the attributes of the imbalanced dosha in your client or yourself, that's the time to stop everything and treat ama. And the first and foremost step is called Sansarjanakrama. And I really want you to learn that before learning which diet is better for Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And you will see that it includes diet, but not only diet, it includes also lifestyle. For example, speaking loudly, it's part of Sansarjanakrama. Excessive travel, it's part of Sansarjanakrama. Prolonged walking, it's part of Sansarjanakrama. Remaining seated for too long, eating without feeling hungry, okay, and so on. Sleeping during the day. So that will be the first thing we are learning the next class. And also, of course, what are we eating during this day? And remember, Sansarjanakrama, digesting ama, is not for everyone. It can deplete your tissues if you are a Vata 1 wanting to detoxify, because nowadays everyone thinks that you are intoxicated, or I need to detox, I need a detox, I need a detox. No, it's important to know for whom is that and when. And it will always be temporary for some days, and it varies depending on the dosha. As everything, Vata probably needs less time, Pitta lies in the middle, in between, and Kapha needs more time. But I can say that it's from 3 to 10 days, this treatment that is very, very restrictive, okay? For the next class, I would like you all to have a closer chat with your Agni and bring something for me in the next class. What do I mean with that? Before each meal or before eating anything, start to ask yourself, how is my Agni? Or am I really hungry? And I really want you to understand better about what is Agni, because it's not something very easy to understand and also to feel. It takes time. So this is the best time to start, or if you haven't started yet. But let's go deep into this concept of Agni, understanding, and then we go to Sansarja Krama and then to the diet for the doshas. Great. We ran out of time, Harmony.
Yeah, we're on time.
If you allow me, I can stay 3 hours here.
We might need to do a part 3 of it then.
No, I will. Yes, next class we're gonna go straight to the Sancharjana Krama and then the diets for the doshas.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, everyone, for your patience, for your attention.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, we will. So next week we are doing the business call on personal branding, I think it was, and especially in today's climate, today's times, why it's so important. And then the following Tuesday is Mel's mindset call, and then next month, the first Tuesday, will be the part 2 of this little mini series. Thank you so much, ladies. I will see you. If you've got any questions for Helena, just drop it in the Facebook group. And yeah, we can continue the conversation on there.
Yes.